Obamacare subsidies set to expire just a few hours from now, tonight at midnight, leading to price hikes for Americans across the country. Our political panel next on whether 2026 is the year both sides can actually fix America's healthcare system.
With Obamacare subsidies set to expire at midnight tonight, millions of Americans are now bracing for higher health care costs. This as Congress failed to renew the tax credits during the record-long shutdown. So let's bring in our political panel, Democratic strategist Julian Epstein and Republican strategist Luke Ball. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here. Luke, I'm going to begin with you because this is a very scary moment for some 24 million Americans as these subsidies expire in a matter of hours. And there are a lot of folks are wondering, is Congress going to be able to get it together to help them be able to afford going to the doctor into the new year?
Well, by tomorrow, the American people are going to see Obamacare unmasked. If the subsidies were the morphine, then Americans are the patient, and they're going to start to feel the real pain of this bad policy. And what's really ironic here is that these subsidies were not an initial part of the Obamacare plan. So the Democrats are arguing right now that Obamacare is not enough for Americans, that we have to continue subsidizing with the Biden COVID-era subsidies and additional subsidies in order to make Obamacare work. So 10 years ago, when we passed this into law, I thought it was supposed to be sufficient, but apparently now it's not sufficient. And Republicans are not clean-handed on this either. They have failed to pass any sort of substantive plan. We've failed to put forward any sort of policy position. That's why Congress as a whole has a lower approval rating than monkeypox right now. So I hope that Republicans can get their act together because the political realities are going to hit pretty quickly in the midterm elections.
You know, Julian, blame cuts both ways, and it's Democrats who allowed for a 40-day record shutdown. And there are people, real people out there with real costs, with real problems, wondering if this whole mess is just going to happen again once Congress reconvenes next week.
Well, thanks for having me on, and Happy New Year. And I think you're exactly right. Blame does go both ways. The Obamacare has been a great disappointment. It has failed to control costs, and it has been a mecca for fraud. $30 billion last year, according to the GAO, which is exactly the amount of money that Democrats are seeking for the subsidies. Rather than having the taxpayers foot the bill, we could look at maybe trying to deal with the fraud issue. So the Democrats have a lot to blame, bear a lot of the blame, and they are sticking their heads in the sand. There's no question about that. Republicans, to Luke's point, also bear a fair amount of the blame. They have been sitting on the sidelines on this. Conservative think tanks have done a lot of sort of interesting work here about short-term, limited duration plans, getting rid of the Obamacare rules that limit competition, allowing insurance companies to cross state lines. But the Republicans have been too scared to touch this third rail to come up with a meaningful alternative. So I really think, to Luke's point, which I kind of agree with, there's a pox on both houses here.
You know, I don't have a whole lot of time left, but Luke, I want to bring up the fact that there are a handful of states that are trying to cover this themselves. New Mexico, for example, is saying that its legislature passed a law saying that they will carry some of the costs. However, a quote from the Speaker of the House in New Mexico saying, "We can carry the cost for a little bit, but at some point we need Congress to act. No state can withstand to plug in every single budget hole that the Trump administration leaves behind." One of the concerns out there, Luke, as you know, is that some states worry that members of Congress will like it this way, that the states take on these costs quickly.
Yeah, I think that if I were a Republican in the House of Representatives today, I would focus on health savings accounts. I would focus on increased competition through association health plans. And I'd also support preventative health care measures like going to the gym and things of that nature.
Julian, the states can only do so much. Final thoughts?
We need much more competition in the system, more insurers, and we need to get rid of the system where the government just writes a blank check for insurance companies while capping consumer costs. And the insurance companies can keep raising premiums to the sky, to the cows come home. It's a system that is designed for failure. So fundamentally, we need much more competition in the system.
Julian, Luke, thank you so much for being here on this day, and Happy New Year to you both.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well.